you know. Yeah, you go ahead and introduce it tonight. We are live.
Good night. Good night to our Belizean public, both at home and abroad. Again, welcome to our Belizean Affairs show number 189.
Yeah.
And again,
Look like we'll make that 200, Mr. Wade.
make we nearly get there. And we're right up on the peak. We're just about getting there. So it's always a pleasure, sitting in your company, my brother,
Same here, sir.
and
Same
and
here.
we should be joined by the chairman for tonight, Mr. Gregory Brackett. In a little, he's in the background queuing up and getting ready. But as always, time is of an essence, so we will start our show as usual by a prayer, open with a prayer, and then a reading, and then I'll ask Mr. Leonard Brackett, my brother, please lead us in a prayer tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the privilege accorded, Mr. Wade. I'll just bow my head then, sir. Divine loving Father, once again we come before thy presence, supplicating that thou mayest hear our prayers, our wishes, our desires, thou knowest our hearts. Loving Father, we pray that thou mayest continue to be merciful unto us. Help us to present a program tonight that will be worthy of our listeners' time and attention, and that whatever we do or say may accrue to the well-being of our people and country of Belize. Please continue to bless our people and leader and the country. Please bless the people and leader and country of the United States and the rest of humanity, especially those people who are in harm's way and who are being hurt sometimes for no justifiable reason. We pray that thou mayest have mercy upon them as well. We pray that thou mayest help those who have need of food and clothes and shelter. Grant us wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and endurance, perseverance, and fortitude to speak truth to power as needed. And loving Father, we pray that thou must continue to bless all of our family members wherever they are, as if they were being mentioned by name and number. Never depart from us, loving Father. For we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen. Back to you, Mr. Wade.
Thank you. Thank you, Leonard, for that warm prayer.
Welcome, sir.
And I will do a reading from Proverbs chapter 28, 1 to 10. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. When a land transgresses, it has many rulers, but with a man of understanding and knowledge, its stability will long continue. A poor man who oppresses the poor is a beating rain that leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strives against them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it completely. Better is a poor man who walks in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. The one who keeps the law is a son with understanding, but a compassion of gluttons shames his father. Whoever multiplies his wealth by interest and profit gathers it for him who is generous to the poor. If one turns away his ear from hearing the law, Even his prayers is an abomination. Whoever mislead the upright into an evil way will fall into his own pit. But the blameless will have a godly inheritance. A rich man is wise in his own eyes, but a poor man who has understanding will find him out. That's my reading from Proverbs chapter 28, 1 to 10.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade.
Leonard,
Uh,
you want to go ahead and present to the to the public what you have in mind.
uh, Thank you very much,
And
Mr. Wade, for being able to fill in the absence of our regular chairman and being ready and willing to perform on behalf of our patrimony and country of Belize. The chairman is not the chairman for the night, as you previously said, is not available yet, but he is in the background working on something else as part of the program and will be with us in not too long of a time. Um, I do want to touch on something before he shows up, of course. There's a need for us to try and figure out why is it that our Prime Minister keeps running over to Guatemala to genuflect to these people over there, when in fact these people are harassing our Belizean people on the Star Stone with no end in sight. Apparently, it is their intention to continue intimidating our people coming across our border to harass and intimidate our people. That kind of behavior is intolerable. And while it is the Guatemalans that are doing that with no regard or respect for our laws, our constitution, our territory, or our people, it baffles me as to why is it that we, the Belizean people, and in particular, because I know some Belizean people that are ascribing to what I'm about to say, and in particular, our Prime Minister and other leaders, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, these guys, somewhere in the back of their head, it appears that they have the impression that if they behave in such a way as to show that they love the Guatemalans more than the Guatemalans love themselves, or that they love the Guatemalans more than they love us, or the Guatemalans should love us as much as we are trying to love them, that somehow or another they will be willing to coexist with us and cease and desist their criminal conduct towards us. I'm baffled because I know most of these people that are in politics in Belize, I have personality profile on them. And I know that they're each within their own level of competence, knowledge, understanding, and abilities. They should be able to do better and they should be able to lead us better. But for whatever reason, it seems like they're compromised to lead us and to have us follow them, and they follow the leader as compromised agents working against us on behalf of foreign interests. I do not understand why is it that all people as leaders have to relate to us as Belizeans in that manner, knowing the precarious situation that we're in, and that the 13 and 17 proposals are still being implemented as we are now talking, with many of them acquiescing to that reality. What part of patriotism these jackals, hyenas, and vultures don't understand? Or did they just want to have us vote for them and give them our powers for them to use those powers only in their own interests, such as to fleece the treasury. I'm getting fed up and tired of the complaining and complaining to these jackals without any response. The people need to save the people because it's the people that put these jackals in the situation where now they have our governance captured and using that governance power against us and on behalf of our mortal enemy. Yes, I know the Prime Minister's wife has Guatemalan roots. Yes, I know other members of the Prime Minister's cabinet and people who work in his ministry have deep roots in Guatemala and would have no problem to have us become a 23rd district of Guatemala as per the desire of the Guatemalans then. The only way we will be free from that Guatemalan bogus claim is if the Guatemalan volunteer to take it out of their constitution. And I don't ever have any kind of hope that they will do that on their own. But that doesn't mean that because we don't control them or have any influence over them, that means that we must genuflect to them or that we must subject the integrity and territorial viability of we country to their evil ways or treacherous ways. We are already putting up a whole lot of their people in our country already. They are already deriving all the benefits of our country as if they were citizens, when in fact our constitution says we're not supposed to give them any citizen. The Prime Minister already most recently pushed aside the other Belizean aspirants to the Toledo East constituency and forced on them a Honduranian. So we Belizeans not good enough to participate in our politics and manage their own affairs. They have to go find outside people that are beholden to them. When our constitution says that anybody that is from a country that despises our country and our constitution and is demanding control over our territory, that we're not supposed to give them any legal status in our country, much less put them above the Belizeans and put them in our cabinet, in our House of Representatives, and put them in our cabinet, as this last Prime Minister did, spending literally $1.25 million for their campaign, their registration, and their election of this gentleman. For all intents and purposes, they bought that seat for him as a favor because he was working with the Prime Minister in a office. What the hell is wrong with Belizeans? I yield back, Mr. Wade, since the chairman is not
My
able.
brother, you know,
Frustrating, man.
it takes a true patriot and a person who loves his country, his birth country, to speak in that manner and to see that something is wrong. You know, how can other Belizeans, born Belizeans, you know, both at home and abroad, how can they not see, you know, what's going on? You know, it baffles me. You know, like you say, the way these people are operating, you know, Leonard, and it's past and present government,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it seems that, you know, nobody seems to have, you know, love of country, right? That love of country, right? It's all about business deals and power and hustling, right? They're not coming to the back of their head. They're like, you know, I can't do this, you know, it's wrong. You know, I should make sure that, you know, my country is not been taken advantage of, right? My country should remain intact, right? Um, at least I know a lot of these representative Banya, you know. I can't say for all of them, But I know a lot of them, Banya,
Mm-hmm.
in respect of where them pa and them ma confirm. But then Banya, some of them. Now, it hurts me, Leonard, to see the constant, like that the issue that at hand right now that you talk about, the aggressiveness by the Guatemalans. I have experienced one
Mr. Chairman,
in
they almost knocked over Mahia boat a few days ago, you know.
yes,
They
man.
rammed the boat
Yes.
quite a few times with the intention to either crack it, make it sink, or to try and see if they could have sink it
Yes.
themselves without having to shoot at nobody, you know, and deliberately terrorizing the people on our side of the damn territory. And for we jackass ministers there and turn around and
So
tell us stupidness, but we're not supposed to go there because we don't want no confrontation with them people and we don't want to have no problems with them. They're not supposed to come over for we start make no problems with we. No, for we own elected officials and try to blame we for the criminal conduct and the craziness for them. Man, I'm sorry for interjecting on
no, I
interrupting you,
mean
sir.
truth,
It's
truth,
frustrating,
right?
man.
I
It's really
mean,
frustrating.
it's frustrating, right? Who do not see that the aggressiveness of the Guatemalan is getting intolerable, intolerable. The aggressors in the past administration,
Something will
and
happen.
they did not have the guts nor the balls to
Something
stand
will
up,
happen.
right?
And be bigger
And
than
this
what they
present
expect.
administration, they keep aggressing us. I could remember when the British was here, that never
Uh,
happened,
no,
right? I
I,
was part of the security forces when they tried, and they got 15 minutes to retreat in the western border when we had the Harriers and the tanks and everybody line. I was part of the security forces, Leonard, dug in and ready to die for my country. My hand was on the trigger, ready to die for my country. When the British was here, Leonard, and as for the Sarsoon, as a former member of the police special force and one of the first to form the BDF, in my time, that had never happened. Right? Never happened, the aggressiveness on the Sarsoon.
Mr.
But
Chairman,
something went wrong.
because it's happening because these jackals that we have as leaders, both in both parties, PUP and UDP, have sold their soul
Exactly.
and their country out for a few dollars. And when they want to question me, they could come because I got the evidence to
And
provide to a
Leonard,
court. No court can convict me if you tell them who they are, and what they're doing. I could produce the evidence.
the last one, Leonard, with the not the last one with the aggressiveness with the when the UDP was in power, right? You know what that man Dean Barrow and his cabinet and his minion told Wilmer here, the Belize, no, you have to get a letter from us. Come here, you have to get a letter from us so that we give you permission to go to the
That is
Sir
why
Stone,
that is
right?
why he was sent into. That's why the UDP was sent into opposition
What
status.
is
I
wrong with
told them
these
about that
guys?
then, ahead of time.
What is wrong with
They didn't
them?
listen. They refused to listen.
Leonard,
They
when the
never did.
British left you, we had a show on this. They left, but there was conditions, Leonard. There was condition, Mr. Bresenio and Mr. Dean Barrow and Mr. Musa and all of you.
And there are still conditions.
Conditions that don't go away. You need we, just call we. State your situation. There is a process. We not abandon you completely. Belize is not abandoned completely. That's what the knuckleheads trying to tell the Belizean people.
Do they know?
Right?
Do they know why those British frigates are always prowling the Caribbean Sea? Do they have any idea? They don't want to know
But
though because in the
Leonard,
first place, then they try to trick we into abandoning with one
I
defense,
say,
and then they help provide we with any. They not spend no money for even feed
I
the
asked,
soldiers them. Bunch of
I
criminals.
asked Leonard, my people, both at home or abroad, do these people, do these leaders even care?
They don't.
what's going on.
They don't.
They want to visit the leader of Guatemala and drinking cocktail. When they address Belize in the Sarsoon,
That's their
did
agenda.
he tell them? Did he brought that up?
They
You
are like
know,
idiot from the UDP say we don't even got one border. So they don't know our side of the
what is wrong with
what
these
they know
people?
when the people then come
God
out of police
forbid,
station
Leonard.
and burn down with place and do all kind of craziness, they can't do it or say nothing about it. Instead of call United Nations and the OAS and complain. At least they could lodge the complaint. Because thing is going to happen. Mark my word, things are going to happen. They know all of we Belizeans want to sit down and take it like that. And then one will jump
You know,
to make
all
something happen.
all I'm saying, and these aggressiveness have to stop, right?
You know, stop one way or another, Mr. Wade. You know, stop one way or
Um,
another, sir. I could tell you that.
you know, it's
Mark my word.
it's beginning to get out of control. And who talks about it? Who it's like, yeah, that's nothing there in election mode. You see the big hullabaloo. And the man say, if I could, the orange walk, he say, I could, he not got no opposition. He call election tomorrow. He could call it November. He could call it December. PUP will win again. Right? That's what is been painted out there, and the venom that's spewing out. And he's right. He's
Mr.
right,
Chairman,
Leonard, because we have no opposition.
on that point, Mr. Chairman, before we go any further, sir, I want to stipulate right here and now. The PUP does not understand, just like the UDP did not understood, things that are happening in our country that none of them, either the PUP or the UDP, were worthy of being informed about because they are treacherous. And Mr. Briceño does not know or realize or understand that he could win all the elections from here till never worry. But the ass could be taken out just as easy as well. Okay? They don't understand what they're dealing with. Then they pretend that the lead soldiers, the toy soldiers, where we got back the Belizean now, are ready for military confrontation. And they're not. All they're good to do is pressure the people and the local Belizeans there and terrorize them because they're not supposed to have guns. And only there the soldiers they have guns and the police they have guns. Only them could do harm to the regular population. They don't understand what precarious for we Belizean situation really is. Okay? That's why they act like idiots. Because if they would know what really the facts are, they would be more cautious even with their own life and safety and well-being. People aren't in that mode as we used to be when we were just passive and docile. I'll leave the rest of that for another occasion. Let me leave it
So
at
I
that.
say this, Leonard, to say that
These fools don't know what the hell they're dealing
maybe
with.
maybe these leaders, they already sold their souls, and I'm ready to, if whenever Guatemala decide to come across again, right, and they will just surrender,
They're
and it will
inviting
be
them.
okay,
They're inviting them, Mr.
right?
Chairman.
Yes.
They're actually inviting them and criticizing us for making any kind of, for him talking about it. We should just lie low and make them run over we any which way they want. And a reckoning is
So
going to come. Accountability will be had.
so maybe, Leonard, I say this to say that pretty soon they will tell the Belizean people, well, if Guatemala decide to come and take us over, we are okay with it, and our lives will be better, right? Things will be better, right? So we're not worried about the aggressiveness, and we're not worried about Guatemala, because it's okay if they come and take we, it's okay, right? If they come and want half a Belize, it's okay. If they want to come and take the whole of Belize, it's okay because we okay with them, right? That that's that's the
Uh,
way it seems to be, because Leonard, like I said,
that
nobody
Mr. Weird, That is treachery at the highest level, which actually constitute high treason. Okay, treachery at the highest level and
See,
treason.
yes.
When people commit treason, it's bad enough. But when
Say
you have the high leaders them commit treason, that's high treason. That's the time when they need to have their damn neck crack the
yes.
Bigfoot or Central Park.
Then don't
Okay?
then don't consult Leonard, I say, I say in my view the way things are going.
Let me
Come
continue.
over, just left me, Mr. Briseño alone. Right? Left me with my millions and left me with all my wealth. And all the other, left all my other ministers with their wealth and thing and uno could do what uno want after that to the Belizean
But
people and
Mr.
the
Chairman,
right?
Mr. Chairman, if
So
the man they love Guatemala so much, go live there and stay the
because
hell over there. Enjoy
because
enjoyment over
Leonard,
there.
why I say this? Because they doesn't seems to care, Leonard. They doesn't seems to want to make no wave, create
Maybe they,
no.
maybe they run go to
They,
Cuba because they can't run to the states.
so
That's exactly what
they
happened
don't
to
tell the Belize volunteer or Belize territorial volunteer that then they address Guatemala and they must seize and desist to that, right? On
but
to stop aggressing. Somebody say that, right?
poor
My
excuse for
goodness,
leadership. Poor excuse for
my
leadership.
goodness, what has Belize become, right? So, like I say, that's the way it seems to me that it's okay with them, and they will continue and they will, Leonard, you know what I'm looking to see happen pretty soon? They step back across the western border, come across again, right? For all I know that they must be prepared to do that right now as I speak, right? Because it happened already. So it could happen again because our leaders are asleep, right? And they're belly full and they're drunk, they're power drunk,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, it's all good, Mr. Man. When you do what you want to, like I say, just hope that you not turn back to bite in the butt, right? That's all I say. And all campaigning and get ready for election. Kudos to But through this medium here, I want to take a minute out to invite all the independent thinkers, right? Put name up, because a lot of people tired of this two-party system for where they have us. Don't be afraid. Put name up. Never know the mindset of the people. Although we don't pay and buy votes, but if the people are actually tired of this two-party system, they will support Put name up, all you independent thinkers who want some change in this country. But Leonard, there's a lot of things going on in this country, man, and nobody looking out for what's going on in terms of poverty, the inflation, the high price of basic food items, right? The high price of soaring gas price, the highest in the world, right? So sad. And so sad that the John public out there, Leonard, not the pressure, their area representative, they know the pressure the government to do better in terms of making their lives better. They are all politics drunk right now. The PUP drunk right now. We're not talking about UDP, Leonard. I'm just saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way this country they go right now, the PUP have with people PUP drunk, right? That is what is happening right now. Every minute one lead party flare up, PUP party. Every minute one lead in a PUP, right? And then they ignore the actually cry. This country, the actually problems. I talked the other day about parents taking their children back to school, Leonard,
Mm-hmm.
and I talk about the
requirements
money they have to spend to enroll their children, their child in school, right? I talk about that. But you don't hear about that. You don't hear that are the big issue right now with the politician. No, about next coming election. and have the people PUP drunk. So sad. And like I say, when it happened, the next day, Leonard, my people, and put their hand on the head and ball. I should not me. Right? I should not make that happen all the time, Leonard. I should not me. We're there right back in at the same problem. Right?
And
Life not better for me.
Mr. Chairman.
Same thing.
And you notice that
Go ahead now, Leonard. It's your
every
turn.
time
Back to
these
you.
guys get, yes, sir, thank you. Every time these guys get elected or re-elected, they come back with more venom and more passion and more hostility and hatefulness towards the public. As if to say, well, you think you had a bad time the last time? Check me out on this go wrong. You know? And the man just proceed to do worse than the last time. With not a blink of the eye. They have shown us who they are. They have told us who they are. We have experienced who they were. And for lack of any other integrity, we are going to let them continue to do as they wish. So then why complain? You know, it's only the people vote these people in power. These people don't get up there and start running the government on their own. Then become elected, then pay for so on and vote. They not pay everybody or all the voters they want to get. There was a time when UDP had more members in the party than PUP could have ever muster. After the PUP back get broke, little by little they start to fall apart. Now they get back with such a force and such venom. Then the Prime Minister himself out of his own snake tongue say that he don't care what nobody say. So long as he think it's alright for his people, that's the way he can do. The man is barefacedly challenging the very public that put him in power in a denigrated way. What you can do about it? Nothing.
Repetitiously. So sad. So sad, Leonard. Look what they're doing.
As frustrating as it is, Mr. Wade, I don't think I'm ready to give up yet, sir. Because the real battle call hasn't been sung yet. And I'm not prepared to give up until a real battle call gets sung. When the real battle call gets sung, I hope they could take the difference. Because I'm a blood-sworn vanguard of my country till death. And when I talk and I say anything, they could take it to the market or to the bank and cash it in an exact change. They don't have to worry about whether it worth the value or whatever. I yield back, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
My brother, and my people both at home and abroad, since this government, this PUP government took office, was nothing but lies to the Belizean people. And they are power drunk because look how they use their office. Look at the things they do. Look at the things they say, and look at the things that they continue to do with our courts, with the judiciary, with our constitution, the laws that they make, right? All these things, right? Where does all these things that these people are doing, where does that profit the poor man out there? Where does it profit the country? No, it does not. Only one person that profit, and that is the PUP in government and their minions, right? These are the only people that whatever they are doing since they get elected, these are the only people that are been profiting. But our people, Leonard, are so docile. They're asleep, right? They cannot see these things. You see what happened, this latest revelation with the land right now? They will get their way, The man say he's not turning back, just like Portico, right? No turning back.
Mr. Chairman, for right now, the truth of the matter is that they have already gotten their way, because as far as they got along with that process, having paid out the money already, they never finished paid out by the time people start complaining. But then hurry finish paid out when people start complaining and demand accountability, so they could say, well, it's a done deal and they can't go back.
Yes.
They don't have to go back, because I'm telling you right now, here and now, that the whole of that process about buying the land was a switch and bait, because at the end of the day, they want to pretend like people may complain about the land and therefore they don't build nothing on the land, but the money done gone. UB will get their hospital built on their property, but the deal has already been cut and the treasury has already been fleeced. And at the end of the day, they damn well know they can't put no kind of hospital on top of a shit hole. That's not only illogical, it's shameful. And I don't think they are swallow that kind of shame for the rest of their political career. So I could almost say here on this show right now, this prediction where I make right now and be like one of the other previous predictions that we will make, and they all come true 99%. You know why? These guys don't have shame, but they want to continue being elected. So then don't get the money out of the treasury. All they have to do now, they won the land, and can't sell that land back for the same price and pay for it to nobody. To no Belizean, no foreigner. And pay that kind of money where they take out of the treasury, because that money when they take out of the treasury wasn't to pay for the land. Part of it was for the land, and the other part was for political campaigning. Okay, it's a backhand deal that went down, and it was just concocted in the Prime Minister's office conveniently. And by the time people get to find out really what was happening, they had already moved all the movers and shakers in place, and the deal was done. And like I said, they don't build the hospital there, because health-wise, it is just not feasible. That was just a sleight of hand to get that money out of the treasury, to justify getting the money out of the treasury. And at the end of the day, you watch what I tell you. Very likely, more likely than not, UB will get the hospital right where it's supposed to get done from the very beginning. This was just a switch and bait. I'll leave it at that for right now. I'll yield back, sir. But
Time will tell, Leonard.
I just hope I live long enough to be able to come back and tell you. I'm telling you so,
Tell you so.
as usual.
Like all the rest of things that we predict and come to light, right? It's the same thing that's going to happen. You see it, I see it coming, and sadly, it's not the coffers of the PUP, Leonard, right? And sadly, that these guys have this country, you see, like when you were hanging, they have us hanging, right? They already have the rope around our neck,
Right on the edge.
right? Have us, right?
Right on the edge, Mr.
You
Wade.
see, my people, they don't have the care in the world. They have the super majority, and they keep saying it, and their actions speak for itself. And you see the things they say are saying now about their next win, right?
But Mr. Chairman, they have the super majority, but they're not using it lawfully and correctly. Because even though they have that majority, they should be able to do what they're trying to get done in a legal and lawful way without having to be, obstinate, unconstitutional, and rogue. There should be no reason for these guys to operate as a bunch or as a cabal in cabinet of
So,
mobsters. There should be no reason. They have too much powers
so,
for them to yield to that kind of deviousness.
so I say, Leonard, right? I see that they have an agenda, and they are saying, well, we don't give a hoot, and it's no, Leonard. Only the people can save the people. And you know what? Belizean not ready for do the worst, right? So until then, We will do what we want to do to this country and people. But again, they know that they are doing wrong. And again, they know that Belizeans are docile, Leonard, right?
Very much
And
so,
you
sir.
hear them always say, they do what they want to do. They say it publicly, and it blow over like a little
Sea
breeze.
breeze. Yep.
That's what past and present government says, right? So, my hat off to them, right? And until we get a strong opposition in this country, that they're not fighting against each other, and it's all about power,
Not in the near
right?
future, though. That not what
Right.
happen in the near future.
So I say this stuff publicly. If that little splinter from the UDP separate ties from the UDP and form another third party, I, Rudy Wade, will gladly join on, right? If we do that, because we to fight up against each other, and we got a lot of infighting, a lot of things that go on. We don't know, with not
Mr. Wade.
conducive with the country and the people at all. We got no
Mr. Wade.
one power thing they go on. We have nothing to do with the country and people, right? So sad,
Mr.
right?
Wade. I have very good news that cannot be publicized, unfortunately. I'll leave it at that.
So
It's just a little
I
riddle.
said this publicly, Leonard, and I am who I am. If that little splinter, except for Saldivar, right? If that little splinter move on without Saldivar, I, Rudy Wade, will gladly join Uno and go there all out and root for Uno, right? That splinter who want to get rid of Shine Barrow and the other crowd, right? So this is where the country is at, and the man say think we call election anytime for a big speech and victory speech, Paninate, right? I could call any day. November, December, September, next year, anytime because I got the country with the hands tied. The country's hand tied. I tied. Only me could lose it. That's what he's saying, right? A spit in the people's face,
Mr.
right?
Wade, there were much smarter and greater people than him, as in the case of Mr. Price, who pulled that shenanigan at the top of his power and ended up losing his
So
own seat. Remember?
I yes, I do. I
Remember?
remember. I
Okay.
remember. I say this to say, Leonard, is that these people, they know how they will win this election because they already got the money, right? And this is the way they have the Belizean people. On that election day, they will start throwing the leaf 50, 100 and so again. Because that's why, Leonard, they have us poor and dependent. That's why they don't want to lower the gas price. They don't want to, you know, take care of the price gouging. They don't want to take care of the poverty. They don't want to do social justice to the Belizean people. Right? They don't want social justice. No. Because they know how they conquer all these things. People they out there, Leonard, we're hungry. And they want bad only $50. And this will lead up right into election. And then when get the leave $50, they'll be compromised again. Right? So, or be careful, Leonard, they might not even get a $50 because they know they're gonna sure win. So
Uh,
either way, you
I,
might
I,
people be careful. You might not even get any hands out this time because they say they have a sure win. You decide, my people. Again, only the people can save the people. Those who have ears, let them hear. Those who have eyes, please open it. I laugh because Leonard, I see, I see the evil in these people, right?
so,
Nothing good,
there's a message. What's kind of crazy message is this?
nothing but evilness,
Yeah, but
and they are power drunk.
mm,
And the poor Belizean people will keep getting the bukut, right? So only the people could, make that change. If we're not tired, we don't know what to do, right? So sad. You see the repetitious cycle, the things they do to the people and a nation, right? And the things they say when they're this land situation. Look, right? Big money, right? When you have band Belizean out there who are only 100 by 100 and can't get it, right? Can't get it,
Mr. Wade,
right?
can
So
I
sad.
steal a second from you, sir, on that point? And the same point about
Go ahead,
trying
Leonard.
to get a little bit of land. Normally, in the olden days, they used to be willing to give Belizean a little piece of land. In fact, they even give the foreigners their land too. But now, with the value of land, they're denying the Belizeans access to land because they want to have the land for sale to private entrepreneurs to make their money. So that's what they do with the patrimony now. They're not giving on because they know why in retreat. They don't want to give you one chance to make forward progress. They don't give no children or no mothers or no family, even the police officers or even the BDF. They're not giving no local people. It's all about commercial ventures and locking into the real estate companies them in the country and help them peddle land to foreign investment and foreign purchase. Local Belizeans don't got money, so then they get the money from abroad, but not for the treasury. The money they go in a private people in pocket. Okay? And unfortunately, most Belizeans could care less. Unfortunately, I said. Thank you very much for giving me the chance to say that, sir.
So true, Leonard. So true.
I don't know
You
when I wake
see,
up.
these are things that we see wrong and we talk about it because it's not right. We talk about it and we'll continue to talk about it until they make it right. When they make it right, well, then we're shut up, right? But
Mm-hmm.
until then, you know, it's so sad how they treat Ban Belizean man, you know, um, publicly, right? Any given day you go to the lands department and you see who they push papers there, right? See who they push papers there. See who the city minister. See who the city lands commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just watch at these people when they walk in and them people office.
The
You
people
the
there with the
leap
brief,
woman.
the people there with the briefcase.
You
But
the
so,
leap woman, Leonard. You know what I tell you? Come back next week.
mm-hmm.
Or here, this our number you call. You call that number till you run out of credit to every time. And then you make me say no richer.
Good night, gentlemen.
Mr.
Nice
Chairman.
coffee.
There you go, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for, you know, giving us that time to vent a little bit. Turn the show over back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Thank you, my good
Thank,
president.
thanks, Red. Good
Tonight,
night,
I
sir.
want to go over the definitive agreement amendment that was done in 2014 and the Feinstein tourism that. Okay. because I want to bring out something I think the people at home and abroad really need to know. And it is always good when you hear about these things to go back and look it over and see exactly what the wording is and what it says. Before I do that, let's listen to what the Prime Minister had to say when he was questioned about the difference between the land for the hospital and the 23 acres from Einstein.
First of all, well, it's like what you said. You can't compare um, oranges with apples. They are two different instances. In the first instance, with the issue of the land for the Babapan Hospital, um, there was a buyer and a seller. They met together. They negotiated. One had one higher price. The other had a lower price. They negotiated and then they settled on a price on the State Bank land. As you all know, this there's a legislation that was passed by the UDP, whereby we deem this project of national importance. And now that it seems that the between the different investors, they have been having issues. That project has been at a standstill. We have, I think, approximately $270 million. But because there's a dispute between with the land, that project cannot be finished. And if you look at the numbers for the cruise lines that they're going down, we need to be able to finish that project. We believe that as a government.
I will stop here right there.
Mr. Chairman, how come he getting a private people's business? We go try use we governance powers and the treasury to acquire other private people property. If you will give another
It,
private person, that's
it goes beyond
unconstitutional.
that, Mr.
It's
Brackett.
crazy.
Not only private entity business that the Prime Minister said he would not get involved with. If you recall BSI, if you recall during the strike with the stevedores when he was asked the question, he said he will not get into private affairs with the Feinstein Group. But I played the tape because I wanted the people at home and abroad to hear how he said that the port was of a national interest, and that is why they want to acquire the land using eminent domain for the use of people. But I will tell you right now, if you read within the amendment, the bill was passed in 2014 by the past government. In 2017, it was amended. It had in all its concessions and everything. But in section 8, they added two lines. And number 8, I will read it to you and then I want to hear your income. Your, I want to hear
Okay.
what you have to say on it. Section 8 specifically declares
Can I hear you, Greg?
what that means. Do you know what that means?
We couldn't hear nothing. We
We
didn't hear
couldn't
you.
hear you, Greg.
Let
We
me
didn't
go
play.
back and read it again. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We are hearing you, but not while it was reading.
Section 8 of the amendment that was done to the 2014 Act says it is declared that nothing in this Act shall be construed as making the facility the exclusive cruise ship port for the Belize district. Do you know what that is saying? Does the people at home and abroad know what that is saying? and
that
I'm
was
going to
clearly
run the banner
that
so
was
that they
that.
can see.
Yeah, I won't be able to read it, but I know that what is intended there is to have left the door open for Portico to move forward as well.
If you are saying in section 8, it is declared that nothing in this act shall be construed as making the facility the exclusive cruise ship port for the Belize district, then you are saying something in difference to what you are now saying that it is of national importance to the people. That's why you want to compulsory take it. Because
Mr.
then in the
Chairman,
act that was amended is saying that it means that it is open to government to decide other option. And therefore, if you had other option in mind, you cannot take this property under eminent domain. I will read it again.
but they're not taking it on an eminent domain for the Belizean people, as they are saying that for us to benefit. We don't have a
Exactly why
share or
I
one
am
penny in
bringing
the
this
process.
up.
Why subjugate for we governance powers to it? When the process is
Exactly
finished,
why I'm bringing this
we know
up.
even to get with taxes for 20 odd years or more. So what will they get out
But
of this process?
what I'm trying to
Other
show
than
here,
political
Mr.
campaigning.
Brackett,
Yes, sir, I heard
what
you.
I'm trying to show here, that when this was passed by the Barrow regime and amended in 2017, they was not looking at this port exclusively as the
No.
tourism port for Belize. That is why in Section 8, when they amended it, it said it is declared that nothing in this act shall be construed as making the
Exactly.
facility the
Because they didn't want to close the
exclusive
door.
cruise
They
ship
didn't want to
port
close the door.
for the Belize district
They didn't want to close the door. They were leaving the door open for other
because
options,
they
as you
had
said.
other
Just as you
intention.
said.
And
Exactly.
if you have other intention in mind with other ports, no judge is going to rule in your favor to compulsory take that land from Mr. Feinstein
But
because
then
you
don't,
have it in the amendment.
Mr. Chairman, then don't
Go
suborn
ahead,
Mr.
sir.
Then don't suborn Mr. Ashcroft already with the hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So they move him out of the way. And they're having difficulty validating a rationale for bringing forward and concluding one deal with Portico. Because Portico have been shown to be a dead race. And these big international companies don't have no need to subject themselves to such a scenario, as I previously mentioned in one of our previous shows. Once they found out and realized what the hell was going on, then distance themselves from it because they do not wish to be tainted. These are publicly traded international business, and they cannot be found doing international business as well with hanky panky with government and things like that. So as soon as they figure out what was going on behind the scene, they distance themselves. And the people who were engineering Portico on behalf of those who had interest in there, as some of the names that I had mentioned before, they got caught flat-footed, and they of themselves could not pull this stuff off. They were depending on these foreign companies to come in, and they were going to grant for them license to build this stuff to these companies and facilitate these companies with free governance powers and make the thing work. And they have had a hard time being able to. In fact, they got stopped in cabinet in the first instance when they were trying to pull it through. You remember? So these people are hot and hell bent in capturing the next best thing as far as tourism. Therefore, they gone out on Mr. Feinstein one. Make bad for him, never get a clearance. The man spend money to try to continue the project, but the part of the project where if they do, the money they get spent on something else and can't finish up the part where you need to finish up to make investors them feel happy with that. So therefore, when leave money for political finance, campaign finance, change hand and the powers to be engineer the process to make the man feel and then try to call in a loan and then turn around and put on receiver the whole over. We turn around and borrow more than where the man borrow a $50 million loan and then gone and borrow $160 million, put the money in a deeper hole where you have to get out of, while then a person with all kind of different schemes. The bottom line is that most Belizeans would not know how the campaign financing in PG East took place. They need to get it by news and need to make the news people and getting the information because I'm not providing it. I just point
But
the direction
Mr. Brackett,
and my information is in abeyance for when they're ready if you want to consume me. I want to tell them exactly what
Mr.
they're going
Brackett,
behind the scene.
I hear you,
But I know I expose my
but
hand
still,
because I don't play poker like that.
Mr. Brackett, I hear you, but still, in 2017 when they amended the act that was passed, okay, they made it in black and white, they specified.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing in there that says that the Feinstein court would be the number one court for Belize. They in fact said, as it reads, it is declared that nothing in this act shall be construed as making the facility the exclusive cruise port for the Belize district. So that
Therefore,
is
Mr.
simply
Chairman,
saying
uh-huh.
they had other options.
Therefore,
So
Mr.
they did
Chairman,
not want to.
I had come back to try to point out something else again for you and the rest, and Mr. Weird and the rest of the general public hearing us to be aware of. Didn't we got back our port? Don't we need to improve that port? Make it more capable of handling all the goods and services that we need to have that port for? And couldn't we do just what Mr. Um, Ashcroft wanted to do in our own rights and within our own capability? Let Mr. Feinstein make his struggle with the port. We believe can be developed. We port that needs to be developed right there. We don't got to go steal something from somebody else, forget somebody else to make we have one port. We got one port. We could develop one port, make the man do one thing on a one way, survive and succeed or fail or whatever. We government, you want to tell me if we government could only piggyback on stealing somebody else's property to make we look good? They don't have enough common sense and enough knowledge and enough, what the man say we don't have? Talent? The man don't have enough talent among them to figure out that we could improve we port and become a competitor to Feinstein and whoever else wants to show up their face. Belize could build one port and spend on $200-300 million to get that port done, which is going to bring in billions of dollars for us. But then rather pay $400 million more than what that port would have cost to Mr. Ashcroft Bank. Mr. Ashcroft make money off of we just by threatening to sue. And the money where we could have invest in improving for we port and create one port tourism and compete and make money for we want treasury since the other one that we got them port, not pay no taxes for the next 25 years or so. We could make with one port and pay with one taxes and make with one money for service for we country's debt and for we country's economy and for we country's school and with police officers there and with teachers them and with retirement system. We can be bona fide business people too. We have the assets, we have the money, and we give away the money, and we know to do nothing for ourselves. So, under the same part that you just read just now, because Feinstein Port will not be, when they get on the constitution, they say, and be the only one in the Belize district. We could only do with one, since we don't kick out Ashcroft, and we don't have Portico on the lamb. Could you convey that to them people and tell them that we have enough people out there where at least
Mr. Brackett
could help them gain some kind of knowledge and understanding about how to manage and what to do for one people? Because we don't want one penny out of all that when it's said and done.
Mr. Brackett,
A bunch of
thanks for that
chakras,
clarification. But the point is this, and I will go to you, Mr. Weir. When you amended the act and you did not put the government behind Mr. Feinstein to help him finish this port, in fact, he was blocked in many ways. And you have it in writing.
That is the point.
Oh no, it will become of national import till you want to take this man land
because they
compulsory.
want to profit from it personally.
You see what I'm saying, Mr. Wade? Because it is in writing, right there. You heard what I read. It's on the banner. It means that you had other option. You were looking around doing all kind of other things, and it didn't work out. So now you want to use compulsory to go and take this under public use for a private entity, getting
Mr. Chair,
involved in private entity business. Let me hear you,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Weir.
Mr. Chairman, one more statement, sir, if you could indulge me, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Wade. The government, unto itself, does not have the power to declare um, um, eminent domain. That's the purview of the courts. Okay, they can make a solicitation to the court, or the aggrieved party that the government is going up against could make a solicitation or put a case in the court for redress under Section 20. Only a court can stipulate and decide what is legally, constitutionally, and valid a, a public interest. The government could stipulate it, but they don't have no legal authority to vest into their own stipulation. That decision is made from a court. The process has to arrive at a court for a court to rule whether or not the acquisition is valid or it's just a bogus effort. And they will find out what after the fact, after they don't spend a lot of money when they have to spend to get there. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
And I
to
know they know that
piggyback
too.
on that, sir, let me say this to you.
They know that.
Eminent domain can happen for public use as long as they pay redress. But under
It
the
has
Eminent Domain Act, it stipulates what all can be used for parks, hospitals, schools, etc. But
yeah.
there is nothing in the clause that says tourism. That is why I was saying before the government did what they did, they should have went back and added
Mr.
economical gain to the act,
But
so
yes,
that
Mr. Chairman,
when you take over private land and
you're
it's
correct.
big business like tourism,
Your
you
observation is
can
correct,
say,
sir. But my point still stands. It has to be done through the court. The fact that they amended the rules or the act doesn't make it constitutionally possible for them to be the ones to make the declaration. I'm saying to you, they have to have the court make that declaration an affirmation. It has to be affirmed by a court. The government is going to try and bullcrap on and haul and pull and do all kind of stuff as they have always been doing and getting away when they are not taken to task or when the court or when they're not fighting Mr. Ashcroft
but,
or
but,
any of the big
Mr.
boys them.
Brackett, Mr. Brackett,
Yes, sir.
eminent domain for public use, as long as the public will gain from it. The only outcome for that is redress. The Boeing case is the precedent for that. That is why I'm saying, had
Specifically to
they
the
amending the act to say economical gain,
that is why they keep losing all these cases, Greg. And we keep
then
having
they
these
wouldn't
shows on
have
these
the
same
issue.
issues. They go and they make these bogus SIs or statutory or constitutional revision according to them of the acts that comprise our constitution under the guise that because they make these modifications or changes, it is constitutional or legal. And every instance they have been told, go back and correct your mistakes. Because if it's not constitutional, it is not legal. The constitution is the supreme law
And
of the
you
land.
are
And
correct on that.
they cannot take private property and give it to another private person. If they're taking it on an eminent domain, it has to remain for public purpose. So
And
they
it
are
has to be
bamboozling the
paid with
process.
taxpayers' money.
Yeah, which is why I said in the last show that they cannot do this and then use the public money and use the public powers of the governance on the eminent domain to facilitate taking away one private person's job opportunity, especially a local Belizean, rather than just a foreigner investor, as they are trying to work out for on this in too many different ways. They 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 are putting themselves in a situation where they could get shut down or get sued again by some aggrieved person. And I'm saying that they all know that as well. They have good lawyers better than me and you among them, and people where they could
Well,
consult, but
the
they just
answer
don't give
to
a
that,
damn.
the answer to that is we will go right back to taxpayers' money,
That's it.
like the taking over of BTL.
That's
Mr.
it.
Wade,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greg, you're so right, no? Leonard, so right.
It's a technical constitutional issue, sir. Now,
Um,
until they hit the
look,
court, then they know where grounds on the stand pan. But in the
yes.
meantime, they take all away for no money.
So it's all about power drunk, power
Yep,
drunk.
exactly.
So you see, guys, how Portugal born. You see how he
Mhm.
grow.
Mhm.
You see how he get big,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You know what the man say? It's all about a retirement gig for the boys, right? So he get,
You nail that one right on the head of the nail, Mr. Wade.
yes sir.
You hit that one in the
Now
middle of the
the
nail.
only thing left, guys, is to find out who were these players in Portugal. We would never know.
Who
We
had
could guess,
interest? No, I'm telling you about that before. I telling you names
right?
and all
But
of that.
anyway,
I'm spill the names them. I told you who
now
all had interest in there.
we had talked, Mr. Chairman, and we had talked about the lawsuits that was going to line up.
Hmm.
So sad. Here you have a Belizean, Mr. Feinstein. Belizean, no,
Yeah,
Belizean.
yeah.
I don't know if he born here, right? But a Belizean. And here you have a company for Honduras, where the man, Mr. Osborne Martinez, the PUP minister
Got
and the
political support.
PUP big shot to get elected down south, come
Got
ban.
got political campaign money.
Okay,
Remember me telling you that earlier,
now
earlier
they're
tonight.
gonna take away from this man and give it to a foreign entity. Why would they do something like that? For
Uh,
me, because I stupid, the only thing that would swing that is money.
Mr. Weird, Mr. Weird,
And the
we have a
money,
we have Mr. Weird, we have a problem with Honduras being added by the Senate to the ICJ because they claim some island. We begin in one island right in front of Belize City there, not too many steps away.
so,
We begin with one money and with one governance power, we steal it for them. How much
so,
better that is than these jackals anyhow.
so here you
People
go,
are
guys,
being
my people.
crazy, man.
Here you have a government, Mr. Briseño, the leader. He facilitate the steal. My observation is that he don't tie in with Feinstein because he know Feinstein will carry a coat, but there is money. The bottom line is money
Money to be made.
involved here. So Mr. Feinstein no make no wave because
Big money.
he ain't
Big,
get
big money.
his money
Everybody can get
and
some
everybody will
their
get
part.
their money
Everybody will be happy. Except
and
me and you.
everybody will be happy. But my people, that money that Briseño they get and the big circular,
Blood money.
big balls people, no it trigger down to
Blood
the
money.
rightful owner, taxpayer, and come down to trust me. So it's all about money. And you see, Greg, you see where he used why he says why he's gonna acquire this land. Show the public and the boss. Show the Belizean people and the boss. The man, he think he's smart. Right? He think he's smart. But Mr.
The man
Man,
have talent. The man is talented.
people don't catch on to you. So you ain't take away from Feinstein in the name of we ain't give it to the Belizean people who were partly won for a private entity, man. This thing not a work, this thing not a connect, this thing not a happen in the jail, Mr. Man. You should have used some other word, you know. You should have used some other word.
How much shares will I have if we now get more taxes out of it? Where will the benefit?
You
Where
see
is the
how much
Belizean benefit?
they give Puerto Rico 20 years tax free, right? You know, me pay taxes, you know, they pay taxes and all the goodies that Puerto Rico they get. Why couldn't a man say, well, you know what? All our only poor Belizean we owe the tax, the land department so much money. We'll write that off. We don't owe no more to the poor Belizean people. No, you see what he do? Big money people.
So they could only do that if they collect the taxes from the people. Then they could give you a break.
So, Mr. Chairman, thank you for
the break and collect the tax from which is the opposite.
showing and tell. You see, and you see from out of and the man say, you know, you can't compare orange and what? Apple and orange. Right? So who you think he laughed when he said that? When he make my head spin. When you said that, you know, Mr. Guys, he make my head spin when he say you can't compare apple and orange.
Mr. Weir, the man they compare apples and oranges as to say one shit.
So,
and one
Mr.
nice
Chairman, I'd like to leave this conversation, that's all I will say. I leave it to the Belizean people to ask on the Prime Minister when trigger down to Ono out of this deal. So I left you with that. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. But then it still come back to the same thing. Because if I play the tape again, you hear where he said it is passed into law. Then, if it is law, I need the Prime Minister to remember what Section 8 says. Because now you are saying it is of national importance. Remember what the law is saying now as far as Section 8 and the banner is saying. Section 8 and the banner is saying specifically,
I can't read it, it's too small for right now.
it is declared that nothing in this act shall be construed as making the facility the exclusive cruise ship port for the Belize district. That is into law. So what it is simply saying that will not be of national importance. It will be one of the ports, like the many other they had in mind. And that is why it cannot be for public use.
So, Mr. Chairman, and to the Belizean people, there you are with the sign over the taxpayers and the people's assets to a foreign entity. Hold here. That's the way it happened. And as for who were involved in the government part, we don't want a name. Right? Because it sure not be the taxpayers. At the end of the day, when all the money start to come in, they know the taxpayers and get that name where they on a dotted line. Mr. This, Mr. That, Miss this, and Mr. That. Then that the players will reap the benefit of that deal.
And how many members of cabinet are involved?
And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, they don't use under eminent domain, you know, so that deal is done. Because we are kunomono. That eminent domain and acquire, and they specify how they could acquire an eminent domain and who is to profit, right? But
we know if we know that.
Yeah. So my point is, they frame that up so nicely, Mr. Chairman, and they know damn well on that dotted line, Jan Public now come and ask them, make us see who named them on that dotted line, you know, at the end of the day. Make us see for who named the day. They know that Jan Public now do it. They do it to all the time.
A private private people, private business affairs.
Business.
Just like
You
how
don't say, Mr.
ASR.
Chairman. The man say he not involved in private business.
Exactly.
So
Bunch
you
of
don't clear
scoundrels.
yourself there, Mr. Chairman. He not involved in a private business, right?
They lie. They don't only tell upon themselves. They lie
Fuck
upon
you,
themselves.
Mr.
And, and,
Chairman.
and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Wade. You know what is so ludicrous?
Crazy, man.
He took over the Bolito, and now he's saying how much it will worth making. He gets back the port. Why don't he invest in the port? Why is the port in shambles? Huh? The port of Belize that we
But
own, that
Where the
should
feed
be the
we?
but
place,
but
Where
you
the food
know?
they come through?
he gonna dig earth to inaugurate the starting of the project for Mr. Zamanino. But you don't have no sense or talent to try to
There
dig
you
some
go.
dirt to take care of a report. Since at least according to where Greg made read just now, as I commented earlier, we have the
You
right to
know,
develop one second port. Because Feinstein port no one be the only one. But they only do that if they could be the one to run and control it. Because these jackals are
Profiting.
they're putting us in a situation
and
where,
and
and
gentlemen,
one statement, Greg, they're putting us in a situation where under IMF criteria now, when they want to go borrow money, IMF and telling sell all your private ports and your private things and everything that you have private, and they will sell it to who? The same people in where we just buy it back from, we or we just get it back from. That's how the ball run, and in a circle, rung and a rung and a rung like ring of roses, and every turn and every circle, then cash in, and we get pressure to come up with more taxes. But we people not have talents. That's why we can't catch on to what the gig is all
Mr.
about.
Chairman and Greg. Greg and Mr. Chairman and
Yes,
Leonard,
yes,
right?
yes.
Don't you think all that money
Oh
could have been
man,
invested in the port
long
that
time, sir, long time.
would benefit the people?
Well observed.
My
but
people?
Mr. Wade, it goes beyond that. For so long, they has been asking to pass the Us bill to protect workers. Look how much workers fall out crane, fall out basket. Nothing has been done.
But
And
Greg, you
here
know this.
again at our port, the port of Belize. Do you see, man?
Could pull up the man. Hold on. Hold on, man. Yeah, Leonard. Hold up, who tie your back on this? Yeah. Tie your back. I got you. Just relax. Don't get frightened. Don't make the rope knock you up. Hold your back. Put your back. Don't make the rope knock you up. That side I need to do. Tie your back on this. Make me bring up your back. Just hold on. Tie your back on that.
Now imagine, gentlemen and people at home and abroad, a towhead went over, and there's nothing for safety measures. They are using rope. They want to get a ladder. Where is the safety measures that should be passed into law to protect workers?
They don't
It's
care.
the Belizean port that we get back. This is happening at. Why is the government not putting the money into our port?
They're doing the same thing where Mr. Ashcroft made it do. Squeeze out the money as much as possible and not have no regards, respect, or consideration for the employees then. Treat them with the same level of disdain and disregard. They have the same person, Tuck Vasquez, they run the port when they run it on behalf of Mr. Ashcroft, that he run it on behalf of the president-led government. So he treat them the same way he used to treat them before. What's wrong with we government? What's wrong with Mr. Briceño specifically? Because he not the one that go around and they play any kind of shenanigans there. It's just like if we never acquired the port, but all with hundreds of millions of dollars going in Mr. Ashcroft Bank though. Because that's done paid for, just like all the 7 million done paid for. Everything them paid for up front. And nothing changed for the better for we the people of Belize. But
Mr.
anyway, I'll leave it
Brackett,
at that,
I'll
Mr.
answer that
Chairman.
for you. I've said
Yes,
it
sir.
on more than one time. that past and present government is failing at external and internal policy, and it will continue to happen. They are failing miserable. The role of government: protect its territory, protect its people, and bring peace and harmony in the community. Internal, it is not happening. Externally, here again we go.
You have to make your immigration check, please.
There we go again, another incident.
That's part of what I was commenting earlier when the show first started, Greg.
Now imagine
Thank you for playing the clip.
you left from this country and go over there to meet the president, to do business, and more than one occasion, with all the promises you come back with, that he said he will respect the ICJ ruling, and you can't even get him to control his military. Now
But they're coming
imagine,
on our side, Greg. It's bad enough if they were staying on their side and try to harass us with words or whatever, but they're coming on our side and crashing into we both over and over and over with a level of intimidation, with gun drawn and finger on the trigger. Like we say, okay, if you don't like that, or you try to do anything about what they do to you know,
and
next thing
that
will be
is
someone will get
why,
shot.
Mr. Brackett, that is
Crazy.
why I will go to you, Mr. Wade. This is the constitution reform we need to be a republic with no guarantees as to the safety of the people of this country. Let me hear you, Mr. Wade.
And the country itself.
I just hope that the Belizean people have had it up to here. I just hope, because all the while it's still in the belly, reach, guy. I just hope that with all the shenanigans, and like you said, Mr. Chairman, where they're feeling, right? They're feeling miserable, past and present, right? Failing the people. So I just hope that people eyes are open, right? Me and Leonard, we were talking about back in the days when the British was here, anything that never happened, right?
Never.
Never happened, right? But the leaders that we have now, I don't know, right? I'm lost for words, right? So I just call on the Belizean people, to express yourselves in the next ballot.
They want to take their money and
Hopefully,
they want to take their money, Mr. Wade, and they want to get them two beer and then plate
yes.
of food, and we are there right there back again after the election. They go through the same motion, they beat up a lip. No changes,
Hope,
sir.
hopefully that when the ICJ ruling, right, we satisfy, right, of the outcome. And my people, I just hope that hold these people accountable, the ones who got us there in the first place, and the ones now.
Uh,
I just hope that hold them accountable. And the worst is yet to come. That aggressiveness, Mr. Chairman, will continue because, like you says, and couldn't be placed some other tips, but the man was just over there, right, having his cocktail, and whether he got pissed off drunk that he forget where he walks, the man, and whether where him for tell her, sure me tell her, Mr. President, I want you to cease and desist with your military to stop harassing our people in the Sarstoon because
You
it's
know
a
that,
repetitious cycle
Mr. Wade, the man,
publicly.
Mr. Wade, the man no
So
got that kind of weight on Anita. He doesn't have that kind of weight on Anita. Can't deal with any level of,
so,
you know.
so sad though, Mr. Chairman and Leonard. It's so sad to see the kind of leaders we have, the leaders we are paying to take care of our affairs. So
Then,
sad.
then get truth serum given to them when they go hobnob with them guys, and they don't even know that what they happen to them, to the point where
And
some of them they go and they make agreements, and after the agreement don't make, they just shame at the agreement when they make, that they put it in a diplomatic pouch and hide it. Then the other
and
people
Mr.
can turn around
Chairman,
later on and say, well, yes,
the
we
mood
signed
in
it.
the country right now,
Crazy.
he could call election anytime. So my people, he could call it now, November, December, whenever, and he will be home free again. He says, right? So
He will call it sooner rather than
Mr.
later.
Weir, if I may, I have a strong belief, and every time I do, I'm not almost, I'm right on what I say. I've been right on most every show that we have. And I believe the Prime Minister will not call it early because he wants to add the voting for the PCC within the general election. So I want people at home and abroad to be very careful and let the government know we do not want to vote and no constitution reform within the general election because
And we
I'm
don't want to
telling
vote. We
you,
don't want to vote for no
this
constitutional
is what
reform,
they're
Mr.
after.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we don't want to vote for no constitutional reform on words that we don't get to see before they get published, and or we don't get to see before they become for we laws. We, the people of Belize, must give consent to any such constitutional reform, and that consent is contingent on us being educated on the points of change that they want to make. And it will take quite a bit more time for them to educate us on those particular changes because they haven't even decided yet what changes they want to make. But they want to make changes, and they want to make substantive changes that they cannot make in the assembly by themselves. And I keep repeating that over and over, and I hope people get the sense of it.
thank you. So, Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Wade, I go
lastly,
to you. We are at that time,
yes, lastly,
and I
I
go to
pass
you
it
for the
over.
closing.
I'll
I
pass
will
it back
go to you
over.
for the closing now.
Thank you. I'll say this to say that you see, they don't want to even touch the redistricting. They're not even think about equal, representation and all the other things that will benefit the Belizean people and the voting populace. They are not touching that. You see where their priorities are right now, and for the past year, we have been seeing, their agenda. So, my people, both at home and abroad, it's always a pleasure to, you know, be able to, call out what we see wrong and come to you with how we think about what we think about it, and we give solutions, right? And thanks to our viewers, both at home and abroad, who support us. And Mr. Chairman, it's always a pleasure to have you to show and tell and to sit in your company. It's always a pleasure, Leonard, to sit in your company.
Same here, sir.
And thanks again for such an educational show. And we call out the ills. And I hope that the Belizean people are watching. I hope that eyes are open. I hope that they listen. Right? Be informed. Get educated of what's going on around you. On that note, I pass it over back to you, Mr. Chairman. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. With that said, people at home and abroad, we thank you for tuning in to this appreciate tonight's episode of Belizean Affair. Please retune in on Wednesday when the Wednesday night chairman will be Mr. Wade, where we will again come back with Belizean Affair. With that said, have a great night. Good
Thank you
night
very much, Mr.
to one and
Chairman.
all.
Nice one.